And while I was at home, my mother did my washing for me because I was only 33.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at times Greg Davies made everybody else in the room lose it.
I haven't used the word dong since I was 13. I'm so delighted to use it again on national television.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Teacher of the Year.
You were nominated for Teacher of the Year, weren't you?
Yes, I was, Graham.
As comes up frequently, Greg Davies used to be a drama teacher. He's drawn on his educational past many times, including when writing his long-running sitcom Man Down. In this brief but memorable anecdote from Graham Norton, Norton brings up that Greg was once nominated for Teacher of the Year. What an accomplishment. But there was more to this than met the eye, as Greg went on to explain.
My head teacher called me in and he was wetting himself laughing. In fact, he couldn't stop laughing for the first 10 minutes.
As always, it's his delivery of the final punchline that breaks the audience and everybody else in the studio.
It was blank, aside from one sentence that she'd written on it, which was of the reasons why you think he should be Teacher of the Year, and she'd written, he's a well good laugh and he don't make us do no work.
We wonder if the girl who nominated him was at home watching, and if she still thinks he's Teacher of the Year material. Number 9. Bad Teacher. Another teaching tip. In this clip, Greg demonstrated his trademark teacher stare, the ruthless look he'd bring out to terrify children into doing what he said.
I was strict enough not to have my life ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think, you know...
Do you have that voice, that teacher voice? What are you doing? Go on, do it to me, do it to me. Oh, yeah.
It's more the look.
If you've seen him in The In-Betweeners, which you almost certainly have, this is his permanent expression as Gilbert, and it's no wonder they were all so frightened of him. It turns out to be just as chilling when used on an adult, though, as he demonstrated to Alan Carr.
Yeah, I learnt this off an old Welsh woman, the look.
Yeah, that is scary, yeah.
The secret is to maintain it.
Honestly, just watching gives us flashbacks to our school days. Luckily, it's probably quite hard to get into that much trouble in a secondary school drama lesson, since dossing about is the whole point.
Yeah, that is scary. Oh, no, that is scary.
And yet, powerfully erotic.
Yes. I think one of my balls started moving around.
Number 8. Taking James Acaster aside.
You want to give it a go? It's a confusing little box.
It's going to be good old telly, isn't it?
There was already a memorable moment like this in Series 5 of Taskmaster, where he took Nish Kumar to the back of the studio just to check in and see how he was doing. The Series 7 repeat was much more legendary though, since it began with Acaster swearing at him over Phil Wang's confusing little box.
I'll just open the box, you...
Acaster couldn't stop laughing, and nor could the audience, as Greg channeled his teacher persona to get to the root of Acaster's anger issues.
I don't know where that came from, I just got impatient.
How was that all about?
I'm sorry, I got over... I thought that was
it's all right.
in my head.
But maybe the most outrageous bit about all of this was Greg admitting that, somehow, he'd never seen The Matrix. That's far more shocking than him smashing a box on the floor.
Let's, you apologise and we'll leave it there.
Very sorry.
That's all right.
Number 7. Camp Isle.
I had no choice when I was teaching but to invent a game called Camp Isle.
Teachers, listen up. If you're ever bored to death in an exam hall, Greg Davies has just the thing you can do to amuse yourself. In this classic Mock the Week moment, he explains the rules of Camp Isle, a game where you have to walk down the aisles in the exam hall in increasingly effete ways.
It was just to see who could walk up and down the aisle the campest.
This is another anecdote he cites as one of the reasons he had to leave teaching, with one of the kids so utterly disappointed in him that they actually tutted when he'd finished his latest saunter.
By the end of it, I was walking down a full aisle of children like this.
We can't imagine it's easy to sit a serious exam under those conditions, though.
I'm not exaggerating. By the end of it, I was like...
Number 6, 22.
See some lovely young people here having a nice time. A lot of men my age get bitter about it. I'm not one of those men. I love seeing the kids having a nice time. I'll prove that to you now.
In this older set, he kicked things off with some crowd work, talking about the perils of one day waking up and realising that you've become middle-aged. He walks on stage, a picture of resentment, and immediately picks out the youngest person he can find on the front row.
What's your name? Hi, Mary. And how old are you? 22. Do you like being 22, Mary?
This just so happens to be a 22-year-old woman named Mary, and he's absolutely livid.
Mary, do you know what happens when you get to 42?
She clearly wasn't ready to be singled out by a comedian, as many people aren't, but her awkwardness just makes it funnier as he segues into a bit about nightclubs, fashion, and 80s music.
And I'll tell you something else, Mary. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to. At 42, I don't make the effort to go down very often these days.
Number 5, hatred of children.
Hi, Jimmy. Lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
No, you played... Wow, you are quite the actor.
There were a lot of problems with the In-Betweeners reunion, but Greg Davies was not one of them. He was there in the audience, along with many other alumni from the show, and in a lot of ways he was the best part of it. When Jimmy went to him in the audience, he launched into a tirade about his hatred of children, and then, more ferociously, his hatred of Simon Bird as an individual.
Yeah, well, Simon and I, there was an instant animosity between us the moment we met. So channeling that white-hot hatred, barely acting.
A lot of people said that it would have been much funnier to have Greg present instead of Jimmy Carr, who, while a super fan of the series, wasn't actually involved with any of it.
Gilbert is a psychopath. I had all the instincts that Gilbert had, but it's illegal to act on them the way that... I mean, I hate children, deep within my soul.
Number 4, curry story.
I got really drunk, and then I went for a curry, and then the next day I went into school.
Jodie Foster, Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling. What do these 3 A-listers have in common? They were all on Graham Norton's sofa to hear Greg Davies tell this classic story. It's another teaching anecdote, but one that hasn't appeared that many times, other than inspiring a plot point in Man Down, which was what began this tale.
So I went to the toilet, and I pulled my trousers down, and some of my mother's knickers had got mixed up in the wash she'd done.
The entire joke hinges on the fact that it was a hearing-impaired school, and he was equipped with a microphone so that hard-of-hearing kids in the room knew what he was saying.
I started going, oh, God, not this as well. Oh, Jesus. So I cleaned myself up and I pulled my mother's pants back up.
As explained, though, he made a grave mistake during his curry-induced hangover when he ranted to himself on the loo. Ryan Gosling was beside himself.
And I saw one of the hearing-impaired kids just looking at me like this. And that's when I remembered that I had a microphone directly...
Number 3, fan fiction.
I mean, it's some of the hottest things I've ever been involved in.
To promote the 19th series of Taskmaster, Greg Davies and Alex Horne were flown across the pond to do the rounds on American talk shows. Seth Meyers wanted to talk about only one thing, though: fan fiction.
This one's called There's My Good Boy.
Yes, people write X-rated fan fiction about Greg and Alex, which Alex was a little unsettled by, although Greg loved it and claims that he frequently reads it to Alex. He then did a dramatic reenactment and tried to get Alex to kiss him, though he wouldn't budge, and Greg continued reading the assorted fan fiction titles.
Was it everything you dreamed of? Greg whispered into Alex's ear. Alex smiled, turning his head to plant a kiss on Greg's lips. No, he said, nuzzling Greg's nose. It was better.
Writing is good.
The message was clear, though. If you write Taskmaster fiction, Greg Davies himself may read it.
I'll get my favourite on record before we leave this alone. Daddy's Little Screamer.
Number 2, the worst prize task.
Wine, just white wine.
Just white wine.
OK.
And we're off, Greg. We're off.
Feel the rush!
Never in Taskmaster history have the prize tasks gone so poorly as in Series 10, where it seemed that none of them understood the brief. In fairness, the atmosphere was a bit strange since they were filming in lockdown, miles apart from each other and with no audience, but they still could have put a bit of effort in.
So, in first place, I'm going to put Daisy. Who doesn't like a lovely glass of wine?
With the prompt, the best thing to put in your mouth, they all took it far too literally. And in the end, Daisy May Cooper won by simply bringing in a bottle of wine.
Yeah, we can all be quick if we just chuck the pints on the floor and shout, "Oh, bath mat!" at the top of our voices. No one's ever shouted, "Bath mat!"
And then, in the first film task, Taskmaster history was made when all 5 of them were disqualified for being too rubbish.
Everybody has failed. Let's see the scoreboard.
OK, well, I haven't changed a lot because of that.
Number 1, Bad Dong.
And what did you put, Greg, Richard? What did you write? Sorry?
We put bad dong.
You'll never forget where you were the first time you heard Bad Dong. Greg and teammate Richard Ayoade came up with Bad Dong during their attempt to psychically predict what the next round of questions on Big Fat Quiz would be, chucking out Bad Dong as their last guess.
What have you actually written?
He said West Ham, not Aston Villa, or bad dong.
They then called back to it repeatedly, bringing it out over and over again. Despite being a total non sequitur, they just kept returning, much to Jimmy's frustration.
By any chance, Richard and Greg, have you written Bad Dong?
I just said to Richard in the last break, I just said, I actually think I've gone through it now and I don't find bad dong funny anymore.
A legendary Big Fat Quiz moment was born. And we wouldn't be surprised if people shout Bad Dong at Greg in the street. If you ever see him out and about, give it a try.
Banning facts.
There's a grown man with a mortgage there. Bad Dong.
Let us know your favourite Greg Davies moments in the comments.
Oh, no, I'm still qualified, technically. We'll have to cut this bit out.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.